The Baltimore Ravens have re-signed Nelson Agholor. The details are finally out. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media, bringing Ravens content every single day. If you want to see that daily Ravens content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the notification bell as well if you want to see more content. And in this video today, I'm talking about Nelson Agholor. I will say I am going out of town next week. I'm going to try and get a couple of videos at least out. Maybe not every day, but I'm leaving on Thursday. I'll be back the next Thursday. I'll definitely have a mock draft Monday out. But let's jump right into it. So if you haven't seen, the Ravens re-signed him. I think that was announced a day or two ago. But the details of the contract weren't out. It was just the Ravens have agreed to an extension. The details are out. 1 year, $3.75 million. That was more than I was expecting. I mean, my thoughts on Nelson Agholor, I like Nelly, but at the same time, I don't want to see Nelly. Okay, I don't want Nelly on the field. If Nelson Agholor is the Baltimore Ravens' number 3 wide receiver, that is not a good situation. Now, if he is their number 4, I'm very happy with this signing. So what does that mean? This can't be the only thing they do at wide receiver. And I'm not expecting it to be the only thing. But it's very difficult for me to gauge my thoughts and opinions on re-signing a player when I don't know the full picture. I don't know the full story. I said when Odell got signed, I wasn't going to be happy until the Ravens are able to make other moves, right? Like, I said that because I was like, okay, the Odell signing's only good if Lamar re-signs. And it got that to happen, so it was like, okay, this I think is good. And I still stand by that. I'm happy that we signed Odell. It got Lamar to re-sign. You know, I think he was a good leader for Zay, a good locker room guy as well. But now, Nelson Agholor, again, I think this is decent as long as the Ravens don't get complacent. I don't want them to re-sign Odell. I want them to go out and get somebody else. Now, is that the draft? Is that free agency? I don't know. I'm completely fine with either. If the Ravens want to go out and get Mike Evans and pay big money for him, great. If they want to just, draft a round 2 wide receiver, totally fine with that as well, right? There's some really good options there. But we can't go into next year with Nelson Agholor as our wide receiver 3. I got a text from my buddy Matt, and he said, wow, $3.75 million is a lot for a guy you don't want to see on the field. I'm like, yeah. Because I was disappointed every time Nelson Agholor was out there. Because I'm like, why is Odell not here? Like, why is he out there over Bateman? And for some reason, like, he was playing, and his statistics, he had 381 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns. He was a good red zone threat. I think Lamar and him had good chemistry there. But, I mean, we saw it in the playoff game, first drive, dropped a pass against the Texans. That's something that's plagued him his entire career, is drops. He's not the most consistent wide receiver in the NFL. And that's difficult to have as a, starting wide receiver for you. But, at the same time, as a wide receiver 4, I think he's a really good option to have in the locker room. And I think the Ravens aren't going to sign any other veteran wide receivers on the cheap end. Now, they could sign a veteran wide receiver like a Mike Evans or something like that, but that would be as a wide receiver 1. I think it's a good deal. I think if you're able to acquire more talent and push him down on the depth chart, that's only going to help the Ravens. Because, like I said before, I don't want to see Nelson Agholor on the field. But that doesn't mean I think he's a bad player. I think he's a good mentor. And I think he's a good backup if someone was to get hurt. He can step in on certain, packages, 4 wide receiver sets, 5 wide receiver sets. Absolutely. Get him on the field. He's good in that case. But we don't want him to be a primary wide receiver for the Ravens. We need to go out and keep doing more, right? This is the first stepping stone. Go draft a wide receiver. I think the Ravens do need to do that. Now, do they have to go round 1? No. If Keon Coleman's available round 1, absolutely. But I think the Ravens definitely need to look for free agents and look at the draft and figure out what their plan of attack is. Remember, free agency opens before the draft. And so are the Ravens going to try and go after a guy like Mike Evans? And if you get Mike Evans, you're obviously not going to draft a receiver early. Or are they going to wait and be like, I think we can get our guy in the draft. But if your guy isn't there in the draft, you are screwed. Because all of a sudden, all the top receivers that you were going for are now gone. We've seen that happen to plenty of teams over the years. It seems like they really want to draft a guy, the guy misses. They're like, oh, let's look to free agency. And then they end up getting the scraps of the wide receiver market or quarterback market or whatever, and they're not able to succeed. So, quick thoughts. Nelson Agholor, fine, solid addition, solid player to keep, but don't get complacent. Don't, just let this be the big move for the wide receiver room. Like you still need to make additions. We're probably losing Odell. You got to figure out a way to make sure the Ravens are able to continue going and getting after good wide receivers. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe for more content, and I'll see all of you again next time.